to take you through perspective technique of drawing. What is perspective? What is perspective drawing? Before anything else, I want us to understand the term perspective. What is perspective? Perspective is the way objects appear in relation to each other, depending on the distance from the viewer. The way objects appear in relation to each other, depending on their position from the viewer. That is the meaning of perspective. And now, what is perspective drawing? Perspective drawing is a technique of drawing of showing an illusion of depth and distance on a flat surface. Let me repeat myself again, boys and girls. What is perspective drawing technique? If you ever happen to be asked such a question, simply say perspective drawing technique is a technique of showing an illusion of distance and depth on a flat surface. And then let us understand what is an illusion. An illusion is something that is not real in actual fact, but it seems, it appears, it looks like real. That is what an illusion is all about. And remember this, boys and girls, when objects are drawn in perspective, those objects which are nearer to the viewer, they tend to appear larger in size and they tend to be more clearer. Objects near the viewer appear larger and clear, while those which are far away from the viewer appear smaller in size, appear smaller in terms of size, and also they are less detailed. They are not clear like they are before. Now, I want to say this. Through this technique of perspective drawing, a two-dimensional artwork is meant to appear three-dimensional, and then makes that two-dimensional, makes your work, or rather you makes your drawing more realistic. And now, what are the components? What are the components of perspective? There are three components of perspective, boys and girls, wherever you are watching me at this particular time. And you can say, we can also say these perspectives, these components are the factors. What are the factors? What are the components of perspective? There are three number. One of them is the projection line, which also you can call it the convergence lines. Perspective lines or convergence. Projection lines or convergence. Number two, vanishing point. Number three, horizon. And I want to explain, I want to talk about each one of these components individually. And I want to start with projection line. Projection line or convergence line, these are the parallel lines which appear to converge. To converge is to meet, which appear to converge as they recede from the viewer. They appear to meet. These are parallel lines. But as they recede away from the viewer, they tend to appear as if they are meeting somewhere. When these projected, when these parallel lines, when these projected lines are drawn further, they move far away from the viewer, they appear to meet at a certain point. I'll give you the name of that point where they appear to meet. Let me now go to my second component, which is the vanishing point. The vanishing point. This is the point where the parallel lines appear to meet at a point. This is where the parallel lines appear to meet. And remember this, boys and girls, the vanishing point will always be found at the horizon. I'll tell you, shortly I will be telling you what is the horizon. Let me now go to the third component, and that is horizon. In nature, the horizon is the line along where the sky appears to touch the ground. If you stand on a hill, there will be that point where your eyes cannot see beyond. That is what we call the horizon, where the sky appears to be touching the ground. That is the horizon. However, in perspective drawing, horizon is used to refer to an horizontal line drawn along the vanishing point. So, boys and girls, in our lesson today, we have dwelt on what is perspective. I have also gone further to explain what is perspective drawing technique. And I've also gone further to give you the components of perspective drawing technique. But before I wind up, I want to give you some of the materials and tools that you can use when you are drawing in perspective drawing technique. These are the main materials. First and foremost, you need to have a paper or a drawing book where you're going to draw your one or your two vanishing points diagram. You also need a pencil which you're going to draw it. You also need a ruler to draw the border lines. You also need an eraser to correct a mistake. Otherwise, boys and girls, I want